What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. I appreciate you stopping by, spending a few minutes of your time here with me today. Um, so, I'm taking Monday and Tuesday off every week, so I did not trade today. But even if I was trading Monday and Tuesday, I would have chosen not to trade today because it was a U.S. bank holiday, President's Day, all right? Which means banks are closed. We have a half day in the market, all right? Now, the next day, Tuesday, when the banks reopen, that might be a different story. But I still wanted to go over a couple of charts with you just because they are good examples of certain things I'm trying to draw your attention to. All right. So you can see here with these general markups on the Dow Jones 30, right? We have a high and low from yesterday. Okay. And that's our big box. That's the big box here. Right. And you can see that on Monday, from this low, right before Friday's close, we have been pumping up, right? Pumping up. We break the high of that box, right? Coil sideways, and then this market begins to break down, all right? A pump, coil, and dump in the New York session, right? So here's just a closer sort of look. All right. Now, when you're on the day, all right, we have this low and this high. There's our low, there's our high. That becomes our box, right? Price is inside of that box. Or you could even take this low and this high, and that's your box, right? We break the low of that box, break out with force. There's some actual price displacement here. Strong closes below the EMA, right? Then we pull back to the EMA, coil sideways for 15 minutes, and then dump. You have a nice 10 o'clock entry here for a nail and bail sort of opportunity on the DJ30, all right? And now, this is the same shit we're looking for every day, okay? We have our highs and lows marked off at the appropriate levels, right? We wait for price to get to one of those levels, and we observe how price reacts at those levels before we make our trading decisions, right? And I'm not saying you should have traded this, but I'm saying that the structure is there, all right? And then just quickly, let's look at the yen, all right? So this was a nice Tokyo session setup on Tuesday, all right? Now you can see we have this high from Friday, this low from Friday. There's our big box, okay? But going into Tuesday's Tokyo session, we also have this clear high and this clear low, and price has stayed inside of this high and low range until we get to the Tokyo session. You can see we pump, coil, and dump, right? Right at that Tokyo Open. You can see we pump up through those levels. We break out of the high of that box, coil sideways, pop the top one more time and take out Friday's high before we dump down straight to where the other side of this box. Bam. Okay. Another nice session, nail and bail. You could still be in this making money, right? But I just wanted to point this out to you. Don't overcomplicate anything. The way that we're tracking the box is a clear high and low. That clear high and low could be from, a couple days ago, okay? Because look, here's our high, here's our low, and price has stayed inside of this high and low range, right? It's inside of this big box, right? And then we have another clear low and high going into the next session in Tokyo, right? Now, the reason why we don't use this, like this high, this low, right, is because we've since broken out of there. We don't have a high and a low and then price coiling inside of that high and low, right? The way we do here, a high, a low, and price is moving sideways inside of this price range, right? I hope that makes sense. These were, you know, potentially decent trades. Maybe not DJ30 on the half day, right? But you still could have got it. But this Tokyo session trade, this is exactly, what we're looking for. We have this low, we pump up, coil sideways going into the session times and dump. Okay. It's that easy. You can see this space right here. Okay. From pumping up, we've left all this space to the downside. Okay. And this is the type of behavior you're looking for here. Okay. You're looking for this market to pump up through that level. And then you're observing what happens once it hits the level. And you can see here we have huge wicks going into those levels. And then we get a strong close below that EMA. Bam, there's your entry. Okay. Easy peasy. Right. This is a 5-minute chart. So that is a 5-minute candle close below the EMA after we have pumped, broken the high of the box, and then dumped. Right. So I appreciate y'all being here, man. Until next time, I hope you continue to free your mind.